Well, thank you so much. I think the stream has started. Thank you. Folks joining us on the stream, before we get started, I just have to remind you to click the link in the chat if you want to enter to win a copy of our guest's book today. That's right. We have purchased a copy. We are going to mail it to you, but you got to click the link in the chat to sign up. Woohoo! There it is. Perfect introduction, Vickie. Tell us who you are, what book you wrote, and what you're excited about.
Thank you so much, David. It's great to be here. Yes, I am excited about the new options that we've got with technology. But I have to say, I started teaching a long time ago. You can tell from the color of my hair. I mean, it just started before the internet. Yeah, but I am a geek in true form. I just really love learning. That's why I jumped into education, because you're always learning. I mean, change is part of our job. And so I've served as a teacher and then a campus administrator, and then a district communicator with superintendents and boards. And all those roles were really fun. But I'll tell you why I wrote this book is because as I worked through those roles, and every one of them, it was really hard finding balance between work and life. And I think that's so important as we move forward, as a human. I faced a lot of challenges that I thought, when I saw AI, boom, this could really be a tool. It kind of reminds me of when spell check happened, because I was a terrible speller. I mean, my fourth grade teacher meant well, but she said I was never really going to be good at it. She was right. But spell check tried to change my world. That's how I feel about AI. I feel like it's really enhanced what I do as an educator and as a leader. And so I wrote this book really with school leaders in mind. I think teachers are leaders. In the classroom, we've got campus, department, central board. I think board members as well. I mean, it's just an incredible tool. So glad to be here talking to you about it.
Thank you, Vickie. And so excited to have you here. Thank you for contributing a book to this space and really coming on now to support teachers as they are navigating this. You have weathered many storms and you have a lot of knowledge that you can share. And I just so appreciate you for writing a book and passing that along. And we're interviewing you now. If you're watching and recording, thank you. But if you're live with us, this is AI Literacy Week. And we at Book Creator thought it was really important to get together these bright minds that are talking about this revolution right now and pick their brains about what is AI literacy, what should be on the tips of our tongues as leaders in the education space. And so let's kick things off, Vickie, with a couple of questions. And I think that will sort of lead us through a conversation here a little bit about AI literacy. And that's really where I want to focus with the first question. And my question then is, how are you defining AI literacy? What's really the most critical reason for teachers and parents and students that they should be focusing on this right now?
Well, I started out as a literacy instructor, working with kids to learn how to read, and honestly, to basically break it down, I mean, it just means you're deepening your understanding. AI literacy means understanding more thoroughly how AI works, how to use it effectively, how to ask questions to get the output that you want, becoming thoughtful, discerning user, because there are so many things about AI we've got to understand about the outputs and how to use it for good. I was in a recent webinar with a group of leaders, and we were talking about the ecosystem that AI is now entering, right? We have a technology world, of course, and we're now integrating AI, and you've got to think about how it fits into that policy, the guidelines, the guardrails, what impacts it has on curriculum, how it can really enhance your learning through professional development, and how it improves communication between all the players, right, in the school environment, but also in the community, with parents and community. So basically, I think it is really important for us to be responsible enough to build that fluency. Does that help answer the question?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's really what is on everyone's mind is
Sure.
things thinking around, technology isn't this new thing for us. It's just this one's pretty profound. It's pretty different. And we
Mhm.
have to have these conversations
Absolutely.
every time these new texts come out, right? There's always this new set of responsibilities that are created when a new technology that's impactful on human life hits us like this. And so I would say then, because there's a lot of talk about what AI is, and everyone's trying to sell it to us, and it's showing up in all of our favorite products, and it's almost hard not to have
Yeah,
AI in something
it's
anymore.
so true. Right.
What do you think is one of like the biggest misconceptions right now around AI in education that you and your book, AI for School Leaders, is trying to dismantle?
Misconceptions run the
Yeah.
gamut. I think when I, first started reading about it, I was a little worried that people were not leaning in. They were shutting down, and not really experimenting, getting curious about it. And I think to me, it was like let's figure this out. But I understand that hesitation because there was a lot of fear around, or still maybe, about shortcuts for cheating, replacing jobs. Those are, I understand they're real, but I think it real fears, but I don't think they're reality. I think the reality is this is a thought partner. It's not going to, I heard
Mm,
someone say recently, it's not really going to replace, it's going to help us replicate ourselves in meaningful tasks so that, in my view, so we can refocus on the things that really matter that sometimes have, well, definitely have been shifted to the side, like human connections, um, inde- uh, independent learning, and really understanding how human interaction works, because that's the crux of it. So, bottom line, I think it's going to help us reclaim a lot of the, not diminish our humanity, and I think that's really a place to start. And really starting small is what I would urge people to do. Just dig in with a group of like-minded people, figure out how it can really save some time, get some quick wins. I mean, honestly, I think it can save up to, just right away, minutes, hours of the day to really fit in those things that have been missing, not to, to forget that we've got a life at home and we've got to stay healthy and keep our
mm.
culture thriving. And that means really using our time wisely. I think AI can do that.
Yeah. And I think I'm hearing you sort of say one of the things and misconceptions is that AI is not trying to make more work for us, it's trying to get rid of some of the work for us. And so if you're using AI, but you're working more, you're doing it wrong, man. You're
That's
supposed to go home
right.
now. You're supposed to go home now on time. You saved all that time. Don't spend it more work. Go home. Go do
Exactly.
it.
Exactly.
That's good.
Yeah, I
Well,
think we can refocus on things that matter. Yeah.
in one of the chapters of your book, you focus in on how leaders can be using AI for personalized professional learning. So walk us through a little bit how a school leader might be using AI in that setting to curate that professional development and tailoring it for their individual teachers and their needs.
Yeah, that's one of the topics. I what I tried to do in the book was to chunk it up so it's practical. It's got actual prompts that I worked on to help someone figure out how to then innovate from that point, right? You know, built a problem, and then some of the common problems that we have, and then what is a prompt that AI could help us? And one of them is professional development, and it's profound, interesting. Since I wrote the book, I've just become more and more engaged with this tool for that reason. But I think on a campus, that elevation, or that awareness, I should say, needs to start with the teachers and the leaders learning on their with the tool for themselves. I don't think you jump right to students if you haven't been using it in your school. I think you've got to learn and really understand how it works. But for example, we always did a book study on a campus, and then I think my superintendent did that with us as principals, and it was a really good way to, summarize information, get us some new evidence-based science about what we're doing, open up some new strategies, but time to read a book is, when you're working and you've got a family, and it's tricky. So AI can really help, not only help select the book that aligns with the mission that you're trying to accomplish, but also really breaks down the summarization, the questions about how could a book study be organized, checklist, ideas for generating products that come from it that can be used in the classroom. It has such a really good vehicle for helping a book study get off the ground. And but if you're really trying to learn for your own information, let's say restorative circles is something that you've really wanted to implement. Well, let AI help you describe it, understand it, give you some questions, get with the colleagues, and really flesh it out. Those are a couple examples, but it really has, it's become something that I've used more than the internet search engines because it's so concise.
Yeah, and personalized, right? Building out,
Exactly.
starting to know you and get to understand you a little bit more.
Right.
I love that. Okay, so I want to talk just a little bit. I know that your book focuses mainly on the way leaders are using this to lighten their workload, but you having so much experience in the realm of education, I would love to sort of wrap or introduce this question to you, because we're asking all the authors this, and this is something that we're really curious about at Book Creator, is a lot of equity and a lot of making sure that everyone's getting what they need. Book Creator is for everyone. But how do you ensure that the integration of AI, the addition of this big AI beast, is going to serve to close and not widen the existing gaps in equity and for students of different backgrounds and states and that whole gamut?
Wow, David, that is such an important point, because the gap is there, it's real, but we have to make access available and take some action. And that's one of the 6 ways I think we've got to stay smart with AI. In the book, I have a chapter on just the safety features, as well as the ethical and bias barriers that we've got to overcome. The acronym is SMART, stay smart with AI. And one of them is what you just mentioned, and that's really taking action for access. And that means we've got to give equitable policy so that everyone has the information, but which means devices and getting professional learning available. Really understanding how language is not a barrier. If we use AI, we've got maybe we can replace some of the things that we're using with some of the products that incorporate AI, because it gives a much broader way to translate the information, not just in language, but also in levels of readability. As a reading teacher, I wish I'd had this to be able to go, bang, give this information to me as if it were a 2nd grader, although I'm teaching an 8th grader, because that child has that reading level. Being able to just give so many more options to the students, but also to teachers, to be able to have access to a lot of strategies at the end of a day when you're trying to meet and figure out this problem that is just overwhelming you. And you've got, okay, let's get AI to give us some suggestions and talk through which ones we like and which ones we don't. Really relieving some of the tension that comes with that brain drain in a school, because we've got to realize this is a tool that I think should take priority, because it really can give so many more people an opportunity to learn. And that's what we're about, right? Just being able to close those gaps, and be able to differentiate instruction or opportunity. It's just a mind-blowing experience the more you dig into it.
Yeah, I agree. And I really appreciate you just taking the last 15 minutes to be with us, to share a little bit about your book, your insights as a veteran educator around AI, and really some of the ideas that you have for making sure that everyone is up to speed on what is happening with AI and how they can leverage it to improve their life, to improve teaching, and really to improve the lives of students. Because if we're being serious here, that is what this is all about. So, Vickie, thank you so much for being with us. And if you're watching, make sure you click that link in the comments so you can win a copy of Vickie's book. Vickie, show us the title of the book again. Show us your cover
Oh,
there.
thank you so much. Yeah, I just hope it is something that will help people, uh, lighten their load and focus on what really matters.
I do too.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. Take care. Bye, y'all.